All right, everyone. Good morning or good day, depending on where you are joining us from. This is a webinar by Navigatio, and we're going to talk about the challenges of sales in 2026, or actually, since it's the start of the new year, how you should change your approach and your strategies to be successful this year. I'm Stephan Spijkers. I'm the co-founder of Navigatio, a B2B sales agency, and you can read all about us on LinkedIn and our website, navigatio.net. We've been in B2B sales and building B2B sales infrastructure processes, including the tools and including the operations for the past 3 years now. And of course, with AI, a lot has changed, and we're using AI in every step of the process. And we'll be talking about AI later on in this session. I'm here today with Rafael Foerg, our sales and mindset coach. Rafael, could you give us a quick introduction?
Yeah. Nice to meet you all from wherever you are joining us today. Yeah, my name is Rafael. I'm now 14 years in sales industry. And yeah, my mission and my passion is to help companies and sales teams to get faster, more appointments, especially through cold calling, because I think it's still a very, very effective tool if you do it in a wide way with the right mindset. So today we're talking about why founders, or why we think founders today in 2026 should have a new approach of selling, right? So basically, maybe we jump right into it, Stefan. I just had very often I have this feeling when I see other people trying to sell something that they're trying to sell features, right? So basically, good salespeople, in my opinion, sell features, but excellent salespeople are sell with emotions. And I think in this new area of 2026, where our frequency, new energy is speaking a tremendously role, is very, very effective. So I think people, especially in the AI area where we are right now, are very, very tired of trying to be sold off, so trying to be sold something they really don't need, or trying to tired of manipulated selling, trying of hard selling, of sales scripts, of promises, of scripts, and I think the very important aspect, salespeople's and especially owners or founders, is that they are before the question is, when do you really sell? In my opinion, the moment you open your mouth and your energy speaks even louder before you even speak, right? And very often people forget about that, and they talk about themselves instead of asking question. And it starts all with the right fundament. And the right fundament is, what is my intention? What is my real intention in this world as a founder, as an owner, or as an individual salesperson? Because at the end, we all individual entrepreneurs of our own life. So in a way or in another way, you always sell yourself. You don't need to be in a role of a salesperson to sell something. You always sell something. It doesn't matter in what way, but sooner or later you are in a communication with a person and you are selling in a way. Yeah. And this is what matters.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think, Rafael, many of the founders, at least that I know, have been selling since, well, maybe 5-10 years since founding their businesses. But that is, they're still using the same approach that they used, well, when they got started. So that is using the tools that predate the launch of ChatGPT. Maybe they tried some AI tools. Maybe they're on HubSpot instead of doing it all in Excel. But yeah, you need to have the right tools, and you have to have the right approach. And I don't see a lot of, yes, some people engage with coaches, but coaches are very broad. Like, some are sales focused, some are more sort of efficiency or mindset focused, but maybe not sales mindset focused. So I see very few founders actually taking stock, looking at how they're approaching the sales process and the sales call, and actually trying to improve that process and improve that important interaction that you have with a potential customer. I think usually people get the advice to upgrade either the tooling or focus on the mindset. I think here today we would like to discuss both, right? Because it's a false choice. You have to, you can improve both.
Yeah. I agree with this. I mean, look, my opinion, the leadership starts from within, right? So as a founder or as a CEO, I think your company is only as good as your mindset or your awareness. So basically your energy is shaping your team, your mindset shapes your culture, and your inner state shapes your revenue, basically, right? We can all the time talk about new scripts, new strategies, new techniques, but the intention is always the same. And most of the time it's the wrong intention. So the intention, in my opinion, is like the fundament of your mindset, your why. So why you're doing it is your intention. And let's maybe forget for a moment the word selling or cold calling or yeah, negative aspects of those words. Let's say, let's switch and use the word serving or communicating or honesty or asking question, communication, interaction, giving ideas,
Building
and
trust. Yeah.
building trust, exactly, and then within the prospect don't feel anymore like in a position with you that you're trying to sell him something he maybe don't really need. Because when this intention, as I said earlier, your energy and your frequency speaks louder than your words. So if your intention is not in the right track, the prospects will feel it and will automatically have the feeling that you're trying to sell him something and feels uncomfortable. And this can be switched by your frequency, like your frequency of what is my intention? I want to serve, I want to help, I want to get information first before you even have the intention to close someone. Maybe go a step back and say, my opinion, my question is really to listening, what the prospect is saying to listening. And it's the same when you are in a conversation, when you are very carefully observing, when you speak with people, most of the people talk about them, most of the people listening, but not really listening to you, that you feel understood. And most of the people not asking the right question. So by doing so, the people feel it's all about you. It's not about them. It's about your numbers, right? It's about that you closing the deal. It's about that you just trying to sell something. And again, I think this year is very, very different from all the other years because people are trying to wake up. They see, they feel. When you look over in LinkedIn, there are so many people talking about how to switch their strategy, their new scripts. And if you want to learn this, why there are so many, there's nothing new. There's nothing new in the market. At the end, we all human being and we have all problems. All people have problems. All company have different kind of problems. And we need just to identify the problems, create a product that solves this problem and sell. And then it's not about a matter of your numbers. It's not the intention anymore. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful when your company generates a revenue. It's all fine. But we here not only for those numbers that it's fit in to pay salaries. We're here to solve a problem, to serve, to do something meaningful, in life. And and then we're really doing something that matters, because then we feel also that this what we do has an impact. Then we are living our calling. And I think this is something we need to shift. And to be honest, the main problem I see or challenge by salespeople or by founders is that their energy speaks in a way that you feel I'm not sure if this person really knows what he's talking about. Like not talking about now if the salesperson is a good salesperson or not. I don't mean that. I mean, does this person really stands behind what he's saying? Do you know? Because many times I speak with people and they're trying to tell me who they are and what they want to do and what they doing, like what they have kind of product. And I ask myself in my unconscious mind, what is this person really? Does this person understands what he's saying? And does this person really stands behind his words? I not have this trust. And if you speak with a person and this person doesn't trust your company, this person doesn't trust your product, and you, especially as an expert in your field, then you have already lost. And then, of course, the objection came. In my opinion, this all objection handling, another topic, is not really needed, because if you sell serve with the right mindset, with the right intention, then you can have an open conversation where you don't need to handle all the time objections. Objection kept coming when the person is unsure, and we're all human, it's normal. So instead of trying to bring this objection out of the way, you can speak honestly about the issue, about the trust, because then is some kind of information missing, and some people just need more time. It doesn't mean you need to sell harder or stronger. So that's why I say, try to sell maybe more with your heart than instead of with your ego.
But I think, Rafael, what you're saying is correct, right? It is a different world out there today. And I think we're all struggling a bit with how to cope and how to improve our processes, our companies, ourselves. And I think what you say is right? It's about, you call it frequency, you can call it trust, you can call it having a conversation. But I think in the end, you're right that it is customers buy you, right? They buy the founder, they buy the salesperson that they're engaging with. They don't really buy, well, of course they buy the features, but it's a very important aspect. And what I do see is with these new tools and these new processes, people get lost, right? Because there's always, every day there's a new viral LinkedIn post saying, oh, I have a 10-step process to get to 1 million ARR or 10 million additional revenue or whatever. Those come every day. I comment on those posts to get those magics. I haven't found the magic yet, because it is, I think, actual work. And I do believe that now with AI, you can move away time you would normally spend on that process, on building the funnel, on doing all those email outreaches or LinkedIn messages yourselves. You can actually start focusing on automating parts of that in a scalable and still personalized way. So you can focus on the high impact conversations where you need the human, right? So you use the AI to do the grunt work, right? So that is identifying the leads. Well, you need to have an ICP, an ideal customer profile, but you use tools and AI to do the ICP identification and enrichment. You then use that in a sequence, right? You use sequencing tools, and we use a lot of them to personalize that message at scale and build trust at scale. I know it is incongruent, but you can build trust at scale. That's my belief. And then you get to that meeting where you actually can do what you are now just saying, is having that conversation and listening to the customer. So I think, it's a combination. Like you don't, in 2026, you don't need to spend all that time on actually sitting down and working in the tool and doing all the research yourself. You can use the AI to do that part of the job. You can use AI to do the personalization at scale using sequencers or using a new tool that we are developing to do the AI inbox triage on your LinkedIn inbox. Because if you do a lot of outreach, you get a lot of feedback and you get a lot of questions. You can use AI to help you with that. And then you get to the actual trust building exercise, actual conversation with the prospect and the actual listening to their problems and helping them solve them.
Yeah. And I think here's also the problem for many CEOs and many founders, that they are just looking on their numbers on their sales team, that they do enough cold calls, that do enough appointments, the numbers needs to be fit in, And here I see the huge challenge, because it's all really much ego related selling. And many times it's not even about selling something or bringing something into the market that has really an impact. And therefore, I think always this 3 guided questions should be very much relevant. And if you cannot ask, or when you cannot answer these questions, then in my opinion, it will be more or less collapse your success sooner or later. And the question is always like, does it really serve me? Does it serve the people? And does it serve the higher purpose? So in like, for instance, serves it only the higher purpose, but not you, you will burn out sooner or later. You will sooner or later will do something that will not fulfill your purpose, your skills, your gift. that you have brung with to this earth, right? So sooner or later, and we see it, how many people are burned out, for what having a company, for what having millions, for what having a big sales team, if you're not satisfied and not happy within you, and you cannot enjoy it with your family or with your loved ones. So it doesn't make sense. So that's why I think it's not only about numbers. It was in the past important, yes, but now we're living and we shift to a new frequency, and people waking up, as I said earlier. So the other one is then, serves it only you, but not the others, then you will pay the price sooner or later. Because in my opinion, if it doesn't serve you, or it doesn't serve the others and the higher purpose, there's no value that you can really give. And everything you give, you get back. So that's why I say it's just a matter of time. And we see how many companies fail, how many people are burning out. We see it, And I think and that's why it's a mindset shift, because we can, as you also explained earlier, right? We can always work on our sales script and how to get more ARR and more appointments and the strategy. But it's not about that, this is just a process. And this is just, there's no right or wrong. You can try, you make a mistake, you adjust, you get better in what you're doing. This is all fine. But sooner or later, you come to the stage where you say, what I'm doing here? Why is it? Serves it others, but not the higher purpose. It stays small. Also, because it doesn't have the impact. And the serving comes always before earning, I think. So many founders are still focused on themselves and applause only for them, and their ego.
Yeah. And I think that is something you have to fix before you start building that scalable process, right? Because you can build an awesome outreach process, and you can scale your cold outreach massively, and you can focus on the numbers, as you say, like, oh, we had 1,000 cold outreach calls. But if that all leads to a conversation that doesn't have impact, right? A conversation that doesn't serve the customer in the end, it is building a giant highway into a brick wall, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
But I think also, it really depends also on the founder and of the CEO. What is his intention of, like, what kind of people in my sales team or in my general team I attract, And then we hear, like, with the universal hermetic laws, you get who you are. You get who you are, in which energy you are, and which frequency, right? And this is then basically then just the normal outcome of who you are. And that's why I say this is life. Those are life laws and hermetic laws, and they can be implemented very nicely into your business. And I think by using those laws, you will have a massive impact, because it's not some laws we have created as human. There are existing laws that are higher than human being, and not serving the normal laws that are created by humans, right? And we need to learn to use those laws in order for us, that they're serving for us.
Yeah. No, it is true. And I think people worry about maybe the impact that large language models have on sales or on discovery, right? So, okay, all the things I might be going to tell you during the sales conversation, all the features I'm going to tell you about, you could have asked ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. But I think, what we have learned with previous technology revolutions, like a search engine, you can also use Google to get all those features in place. And still, we have sales managers and sales agents to this day. So I don't think that conversation will go away, right? I think
never, ever. I 100% agree with you.
So that's why I think it makes sense to work on the quality of that conversation. And I think it has two elements, as you say, those two pillars. Like, hey, it works better because you're serving the customer better. You have a better conversation. You build more trust. You serve them, and that might also be with a no, right? So, hey, I cannot help you, right? You have an interesting problem. Love to work with you on that, but it's not the product I'm selling or the service I'm selling. That could also serve them, like, hey, thanks, but no thanks. And then the other pillar is for yourself, right? I think that you mentioned correctly that just doing sales for the bigger number on your bank account
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anyone who has become happier because of that, right? It sounds nice to have a new car or a bigger home, or in the end, I think it is very, it is cliche to say that that doesn't matter when you're, on your deathbed and trying to recount how your life went. You don't think about well, most people don't think about the cars they owned when they're dying, and there's probably exceptions as well. But I think
Exactly.
it's then that you start to realize, oh, I should have spent more time on the things that I find important in life. And if you start doing that now, I agree with you that that also reflects in the rest of the hours of the day, right? So if you are happier because of what you do outside of work, you bring that happiness and that calm and that enthusiasm, maybe contradictory, but still,
Yeah.
you bring that also to the sales conversation. You bring that to the relationships that you're building. And sales is just relationship building.
Exactly. 100%. And coming quickly back to your statement of, do we need, I mean, can LLM replace sales people, right? I think it's a very interesting topic, and I think like it's the same when a founder approaches me and says, "Hey, I have a problem, I have a challenge with the sales team, with the numbers, but also with the mindset and with the appointments," right? Then I always say, "Well, you could say there's all information available on the internet, right? You can get tons of it, but the problem is not about the information; it's also about using the information in a way that your subconscious mind understands when to use the right information as a habit, right? And we have all patterns, and most of the patterns are very negative related. So we need to create new patterns. Not only information is not enough someone to change their problem. They need someone. And very often there comes also the question, why do you need like a coach kind of, right? Like a mentor or a trainer. I think everyone should have a trainer in their life in different kind of areas, because it helps you to reach your goal faster, to identify negative patterns, to create new positive patterns, to understand your mindset correctly, how it works. Because a lot of information is out there, but it doesn't mean just because the information is out there that you understand the information and implement the information. And very often, it doesn't matter in which industry it is, you can sell something, or you can trying to create something and sell something, but the person doesn't know how really to use it effectively. And I think there's a huge gap. And I think therefore nothing can be better than a really honest conversation and trying to sell with the right mindset, with the right pattern,
Yeah.
with the
I
right
think,
strategy and intention.
yeah, no, you're right. You need to apply the information, right? Just information there's a lot of information you can find on the internet, but without a story, it is just that. It's just data. And when you have the right story, when you have the right coach, when you have the right salesperson in front of you, it becomes information you can use to make a decision or improve your processes. I do think it's interesting, Rafael, that, I mean, we as Navigatio focus a lot on the infrastructure and the tools, right? We're actually developing our own tool to do automated outreach called Spruto. And it is still in a very early stage, but I'll share the URL for everyone so they can have a look. There is an interesting divide between us, right? Where we focus really on that infrastructure, on scaling that outreach process and building that with all the tools that you have available, right? From Sales Navigator and the different databases to get leads, from using Clay in the best way possible to enrich all those leads and find the right ICPs, but also maybe already with some N8N, some Nodemation interactions and connections to enrich those with maybe pain points that they have based on their industry or based on the business that they're in. And then push that to, again, an automated but personalized cold outreach sequence, just to get more of those calls in, right? So to take time away from what your sales team or what you as a founder is, I would say, low value work, right? Where you are spending a lot of time to craft that perfect email or that perfect message to a potential customer, and focus only on where you come in, right? So we are building that highway, and you are making sure that the highway keeps on going and doesn't end up in a brick wall. But you break that down and make sure that, yeah, that is a conversation that works. And so you don't have I mean, we provide all the input. So you have all the context on the customer, and you have maybe the pain points that the AI identified. But then it is up to the founder themselves or the sales managers to use all that information in a conversation. And maybe because of that, they can get to that connection, build that trust within 45 minutes instead of 45 days. And I think that's where we both sort of collaborate and leverage each other. We built that highway, and you make sure it doesn't end up in that brick wall. Or how would you see that? I mean, you focus really on the personal stuff. Like if you hear me talking about building personalized outreach at scale, is there something in your gut that ties up, or is there something? I can imagine that would rather see people build actual connections, right? If that makes sense. How do you see that?
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end, I think it's all about you, how good you can sell yourself. It's all about your mindset, about your conscious awareness, your mind, and your energy level, right? And I think I make sure that the fundament is built correctly, so that everything what the person and the sales team is building on top of it will be succeed. So therefore, I'm like the coach that really helps the founder, the sales team, to be the right hand of the founder, to make sure that the sales team perform. So basically, we really making sure that the sales team is getting more appointments that leads to more sales and success. And there we'll be using different elements. So I think what makes it differently in the market is that it's like not just like a sales training program where we focus on only the power pitch of role play, of new techniques, of manipulative ways. We're trying more to work with the mindset and the conscious awareness in combination with the hermetic laws and quantum physics. And I think this is like the game changer that helped me tremendously in my career and my business. And always when I worked with my heart and with my mindset, I had more success than when I worked with only the normal sales approach, let's say. And we're living in a way where people need to find different kind of ways. And at the end, I just enable the potential within the person. And this is, I think, how we explore ways of selling 2026.
Yeah. No, I think, I mean, in a way, we do different things. And I think what you would call personalization and having an open conversation is not exactly what we do, right? But still, we're using AI to build that highway of cold outreach and try to build some level of trust at scale, right? That's in the end, I think, what we try to do. And there's two paths towards that. So there's maybe two highways in that analogy, where one is the personalized cold outreach with AI messages, followed up maybe with AI enhanced conversations on LinkedIn. So your inbox is triaged and you don't spend hours on searching for the right message on your inbox. And the other way to build trust at scale is, I think, especially in this age, I mean, we're in the age of AI, but we're also in the age of video platforms, is creating content with founders and building trust at scale using that way, right? So that's basically two highways that work towards that conversation where you focus on, so that people have, I think, more time to build that impact, right? So have more conversations that actually lead to impact. And on the other way, maybe have more free time to also do what they want to do next to work. As you said, we need to have a balanced life, and we need to bring that energy to both sides of the table, the work side of the table and the the personal side of the table. And maybe they overlap, but yeah, you need to have both.
100%. Yeah. Beautiful said.
Now, I think what I'm curious about is where you use AI in your sales process. Like, do you use AI to prepare for those outreach calls in any way? Or do research on leads?
Yes, I do, but I always try, and I think people are also tired of it, of AI messages, So I think the really, really, really problem is, especially now in this area we live with AI, is that people are feeling and understand in seconds that this is AI generated. I mean, you can use AI for helping writing emails or text or messages, prepare some stuff, information. This is all beautiful, but at the end, it should be still personalized. And it's difficult to differentiate.
No.
Okay, is it now?
No, I had this like, okay, so this is happening as we speak, right? So I received an email yesterday, and it had like highlights in bold in 3 different paragraphs, and it wasn't an active conversation. So you're not actually aware of, hey, is this going to be an AI message or not? I mean, first outreach messages, sure, you get AI messages. That's okay. But I had an ongoing conversation with someone, and suddenly his replies was 3 paragraphs, and it had these bold parts of each sentence. Like, he doesn't normally do that. And I knew that he used AI, and I felt violated in a way. Like, it hurt the trust in a way, I think. So I fully agree with you that there's maybe a time and place for AI, and it needs to be done well. And there's also definitely, a part that the human does well. And you should not confuse the two. Yeah. I'm curious if anyone in the audience has received the same, like, did you ever receive a message where you said like, oh, this is so clearly AI. Yeah, I'm not even going to read it. That's fine. But if you have an ongoing conversation with someone, or you have an ongoing relationship with someone, and you suddenly get an AI message, I don't know. I still feel violated. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, very often I get also those messages where I was thinking, why are you not trying to call me and explain me a little bit of your company and what you're doing and who you are? And this is nothing, there's no magic, right? It's not like a magic pill you need just to get appointments. You don't need to sell more features or something. I think if you really focus on the problem of the person and asking question, gather information with this goal, and that's all for the first step, then you will understand what the person really needs, and then you can see if you can generate this. But in forehand trying to manipulate in a way that the person gets an appointment with you, this is already the wrong intention. So what is so bad about that? Just to make a quick research about this company, about this person you want to phone and speak. And here's the key element, the truth, like honesty, the truth. And people are so scared, unbelievable, and get panic by in a conversation why they're really phoning. What is so bad about it? I mean, it's nothing bad about it just to ask a question and approach. The worst thing that could happen is a no, I'm not interested, just for, because the person can have a bad day or whatever, or is really not interested. Your pitch was not good enough, maybe. But this is just a problem. People are always trying to find like a back door to just trying to trick and getting an appointment with the person instead of go right into it and say why you talk. And people, and especially founders and CEO, I think, appreciate it and will have rather. I mean, let's talk about us, Stephan, right? Would we set up appointment with someone who phones us? We can in the audience, everyone can ask this question by himself. Would you set up appointment with someone who phoning you in a way that you really appreciate the conversation? You feel, hey, he made his effort, he researched the company, his pitch was really cool, it was nice, and he didn't push me. I felt like honest treated, and he put the pressure out and said, hey, let's just have a call and let's see if we get into it, and if it's a fit, it's fine. If not, then you got some information about this kind of product or this kind of approach or process, no big deal, I mean, Of course we would do it, but we very often feel in a way, even if we get a LinkedIn message or by mail or by the phone, if we get it, we feel like that this person is not an expert in his field. We feel this person cannot help us. We feel this person just trying to sell something and really is not an authority person.
Yeah.
And we feel the pressure. We feel immediately when before the person even speaks, we feel his breath, we feel his energy, and we feel immediately this person is trying to sell me something. It's not about me. If this change, you will get an appointment. I'm sure. I guarantee you this. And if you just always put yourself in the shoes of the customer, you will implement this in your sales process. Because at the end, if you're a founder or a CEO, right, and you're struggling with getting appointments, then just ask yourself, what would I do? What the salesperson needs to have and implement it and train it.
I think that's super interesting. I feel the same way. Like if you have it is an authentic conversation that you need to have, right? And to have that authentic conversation, you need to know maybe a bit about the person that you're calling and his company. You need to for sure understand your tooling, but you also need to have experience in the field. And I think in a way that's easier for us to say with, I'm not going to ask how old you are, Rafael, but with 14 years of experience or 15 years of experience in sales, for me, similar, like more than a decade of experience in the industry, that helps, right? But how should you approach this when you are just starting out, or when you are as a founder just starting out in the industry?
Especially then, it's the perfect fundament for you, because you have not set up the process. So you're open for new information, for new ways, for new processes. You're just trying and get better in the process, I think before you start, you need to understand what you really want. This is the same when you're trying to work on your pitch, and your pitch is in a way no power pitch. We had this in our previous webinar in the past. A power pitch is that the pitch is so good that you trained it also with your tonality, that the other person is really interested to get an appointment with you. And this takes time. So I think before you start, you need to understand. And here comes the problem a lot of companies have. It's not clear who they want to approach, their ideal customer profile. Their product is maybe a prototype, or it has not proven impact. I think if you have a product or a service that really solves a problem and serves you, the others, and the highest, then I think you will have always success. But if your product is still, in early stage, and you're trying to identify and figure out, does it really fix a problem? Then it's not only about selling, then it's just also the issue about the service or the product that you have to adjust. And this is just and in order to close this gap, it's the only way to close this gap is time, because from where you are and from where you want to be needs to happen experience, and experience comes over the time. That means you just start and trying to be better instead of trying to create perfect product service from the beginning, which is not possible, because you need to get information, what people have for problems, what they need. And here starts by gathering information, going out into the market before trying to fix everything in one day. I always say, just because you in your sales or in your industry, in your business, lose the battle, you don't lose the war. And people are so afraid of just losing the battle and imagine losing the whole war. It's just a battle. And this is just a mindset shift. Yes, to lose a battle can be hurtful, yes, in the moment. And it can be, if you're not in the right mindset, it can be the end of the world for you or for a business owner. But it's just a battle. It's not a war. And this is just something people need to understand, And that if people understand, they see they don't need to fix everything in one day. They don't need to answer all questions in their head in one day. And one thing I really, really recommend you, before using ChatGPT and all tools in the world do one thing, and it will be a million times better than everything what is outside in the market. If you are needing information for a product or for an idea, or you have a problem, or you just need the right information, then work with your subconscious mind that has all answers. What I mean by this, you have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind, right? Your subconscious mind is working over the day. Your subconscious mind is thinking, is creating, it's doing stuff. With your subconscious mind, your work when you sleep. So your subconscious mind is not creative. It's just working when your conscious mind is not working. So in order to get information that you really need, no matter where, you need to work with your subconscious mind and stop working with your conscious mind. And you can do that either when you sleep or when you just sit quiet, no matter where, just for 10 minutes, close your mind, come in a stage of peace, of harmony, of not stress, and let your subconscious mind work and stop working for a moment with your consciousness, with your mind that works 24 hours, right? And you will see the information will float in. The best ideas for my career, for my business, for my sales process. That was not ChatGPT. That was
the shower?
my eyes. Yeah, it can be everywhere. It can be, but people are so busy. There's million of things, and trying to get the information from outside, from ChatGPT, instead of trusting their subconscious mind about their higher self, that they can get the right information. And to be honest, ChatGPT is intelligent, but it's not comparable with a human brain. And the human brain is the fastest and the strongest computer in the world.
Well, especially in interactions with other humans. I think in such a sales conversation, you need to be open to that other person, and you don't need to be focused on yourself or your own story or your own stress, right? So to be in that conversation and be present and use that subconscious system to feel the other person. I'm not sure if that is a good word to describe it, but you need to build that connection, and that you cannot build that connection if you close the door and only focus on your own internal stress, because you need to do the power pitch, or you need to sell these features, or you need to close this customer, because otherwise you will not make your target for this quarter. You close down the door, or you pull up the drawbridge of the castle, as they say, and then you don't have a true conversation. And I also agree with you that nowadays with ChatGPT, but my personal issue is AirPods, and maybe working from home and having back-to-back calls. There is no time where you can let that subconscious system work on the important big line stuff. And you cannot actively put it to work, right? It needs to be, you need to set it free, basically. So you need to do something that is just sitting on a bike and having a bike ride without music or a podcast or listening to this webinar. So, I mean, don't log off now, but log off now and take a walk for 15 minutes before you have your next call, because it will maybe be more inspiring than just listening to what Rafael and I have to say, and will bring you more than what Rafael and I have to say, than just these 15 minutes more of information. But I see myself, like, I have a 5-minute bike ride or 10-minute bike ride to a customer. And the first thing I do when leaving the home is put in my AirPods, put on a podcast, and then start biking, instead of, hey, just taking time, let it all come in, be present in the moment, and just enjoy the bike ride. No, I need to pull in more information. I don't know.
But it's, I agree with you. But it's not only more information. I think many times I feel in a way that I have enough information. I don't need more information. I just need the information I have and use those that are really relevant in this moment for me and that really serving me right now. And all other information that are not relevant. Imagine you have a desk and it's full of things, right?
Yeah.
And you just sometimes need to put everything aside, clean it up, and get a headspace, empty your
I'm not
mind,
going to show you my desk now, Rafael. I'm a bit afraid of showing everyone my desk. But it
only
works.
imagine.
It works that way. It works that way physically. It works that way mentally, right? It is true. And I said information, but I think it's data, right? You just put in input into your ears or input into your mind by reading whatever ChatGPT is telling you. But it is not information. Like you need to make information out of the data. And
It's
I think that is
implementing also the information in the right way for your subconscious mind, that it gets the habit. So it should be like in a habit. So long story short, I think everyone who wants to have a new sales like a new approach of selling, I think the best thing that I could recommend to you is work harder on yourself than on everything else. Just work harder on yourself.
cool.
And the success will automatically pop up. It's just a matter of time. And also maybe one last thing is Rome was not built in a day, because sometimes we push ourselves to the limits and have very much high expectation. And I think with high expectation, it's the problem that we can get disappointed. So sometimes to have no expectation and just being in the flow of life will lead his ways that we don't know yet, maybe.
I like that. So, I mean, if you want to build that automated sales funnel, you want to have the infrastructure in place, you want to have the process in place, the right messages enhanced with AI or with the human touch or both. Work with us. Give me a call after this webinar, and we'll help you set up a process that gets you in front of more customers to have more real conversations, I think. And I think, Rafael, if people want to have better conversations, how would you be able to help them?
So basically, as I said earlier, like I have created a training program where I work individual with the company and their sales process and make sure they get more appointments through cold calling, or another way. And the other way is to help them mindset wise to shift that leads to more revenue and sales. So it's a transformation approach, and we work in combination together, Stephan and myself. And if you also want to reach out for me, I'm welcome to make an analysis of your current sales process. And if you want to have an individual crafted power pitch adjusted to your company, then reach also out to us. We will create this for free so that it will have most effective for you that you can implement already. And if you then need a coach on top of it that trains the sales team and set up the process, I think then we are the right ones to do so.
Yeah. I mean, that is actually that's true. I mean, we work together. I know you also do some really interesting work with interesting clients that we might not be able to name on this call. But I think yes, you can definitely start by yourself. You can definitely do that first. Thinking about where you want to go and how you want to get there. But I think if you really want to take that next step in 2026, be open to letting other people help you as well. And if you want to leapfrog the competition, I think you know how to find Rafael and myself. I've also shared a link to your profile, Rafael, in the chat. So if people want to find you, well, they'll probably be able to find you anyway. But I made it just a bit easier. And I also shared a link to our new AI enhanced LinkedIn inbox. If you want to build that trust at scale, if you want to apply AI at the right fulcrum points in the sales process, then this tool might be able to help you. And if you have any questions, reach out to me as well. Rafael, I had a great conversation, and I would like to invite you again for a future conversation. Are there any final closing thoughts that you want to share with the audience?
I think, also from my side, I really loved this conversation with you. It's a very interesting topic, and again, we will have some of those conversations again in the future. And if you want to interact with me and Stephan, and just get in touch with us and getting to know each other, then you're welcome to do so, and then we can see if we can help you or not. And we wish you, of course, a very successful year. It just have started. It will be a very energetically strong year for a lot of people, I think. And that's my last words.
All right. Thanks. Thank you for joining us, Rafael, and thanks for the audience for sticking with us on this early morning. I think for most of us. If you missed parts of the conversation because you joined late, we'll be sharing a recording so you can look back and see those parts of the conversation as well. And definitely check out Rafael's profile and get in touch, or let me know if you have any other questions. And I'm pretty sure Rafael will be back on one of our webinars. So keep an eye out on the Navigatio LinkedIn page as well, and follow us for more sales insights. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.